Viewer discretion is expressed for the following program. If you are easily triggered or offended, please exercise caution while viewing this program, because the hosts really don't care. Warning, this show is not for children, and not for coworkers either.
Okay, please. I know. International sensation, globally watched. Your two dads. I know. We're back. We're here. I'm JJ. That's D-Con, the Barbarian, and we are we're here every morning, weekdays, Monday through Friday, to read the news and politics and news and Twitter, media, movies. Check our nose hairs. I don't know what else.
We can't do that because one of our first shows that we did, it was we tested everyone.
Too much time on ear hair.
Yeah, about ear hair. Yeah, that's right. It was about ear hair.
I'm never coming back. Okay, all right.
And speaking of one of our first shows, we have our anniversary coming up on Friday.
Yes.
So we might do something special. So
yeah,
entice.
Have we put any
tune in
forethought and planning into this? Well, that's a secret, and you'll find out. The answer is no. We have not done that.
No. Hi, buddy. What's up?
What's
How
up,
was
D?
your day yesterday?
Man, I've had this stiff neck for like, I don't know, 2 weeks now. I can't get my neck to stop like being all.
Yeah, you were talking about that yesterday.
So aside from that, it's great. It's the third day in a row that I'm taking my girls to school, dropping them off. We're starting to get the hang of it. Yesterday, we pull up in the line. Here's the way. If you take your kids to public school, it's supposed to be like this: drive up, kids get out, you go. You got to keep that line moving to get those kids in the school, right? But my kids are drive up, open the door. Hey, can we talk, Dad? Oh my God, get in the car.
Yeah.
Get out. We've been 10 minutes in line. What do you mean? Can we talk right now?
So, do you go and pick up your girls?
My wife picks him up. I drop him off. My wife picks him up. That's the way it's going right now.
So I was on Ashley. We were opposite. Ashley dropped him off because, of course, I'm here, and then I picked them up in the afternoon. And when they were in middle school, you had to go and get in the middle school line and pick them up in the middle school. And it was you had to get there an hour early if you wanted to not be the very last person in line. You had to sit there for a freaking hour. And I swear I would get there at 2:10 and there would be 4 people already there. And there was always the same car in the first.
Yeah, I'm noticing that.
Same car.
I'm noticing that.
You see the same people.
I'm like, this morning I was like 4th or 5th in line. And then like after 5 minutes, there was like 30 or 40 or 50 cars behind me. But I looked in front of me and I was like, I think that's the same van. Yeah. I think that same van was in front of the line yesterday. Like that's the person that likes to be in the front.
It was the same lady every single time.
I mean,
every single time.
I think it's better to get there early and just sit there and goof around on your phone than it is to get there.
Sit there and fart around on your phone. But there was a dead spot in that parking lot where we had to line up. Where if you got stuck in the dead spot, you couldn't pick up anything. Right. I'd always have to turn on a Netflix show before I got there in case I got into the dead spot.
All right. So, Deke, as we do every morning, we need to get some culture. So culture us up a little bit with a song of the day.
All right. I added a song for yesterday's bonus song. This week we're doing Kentuckians, artists from Kentucky. And then our bonus song is going to be a song about Kentucky. So the bonus song that I added yesterday is Blue Moon of Kentucky by Miss Patsy Cline. She's got such a wonderful voice. She's got one of the best voices of all time, and her version of this song is really good. It's a little bluesy kind of and so our Kentuckian that we're adding today is possibly, in my opinion, one of the, if not the greatest songwriters of all time, a man named Tom T. Hall. Tom T. Hall is from Tick Ridge, Kentucky, and he is called he's the storyteller. That's his moniker, is the storyteller. This is a song that I've wanted you to hear for a while. So, and I added this early. I was like, maybe if I throw this in early, maybe JJ will listen to it early. So when you get a chance, listen to this. But this song is called "The Monkey That Became President," and it's by Tom T. Hall. And I play this one every once in a while. It's a really good song. You'll really enjoy it because Tom T. Hall is a storyteller. All of his songs tell stories. So this one is a story about the monkey that became president. It's really, really good. So when you get a chance, listen to that. Tom T. Hall is Kentuckian, and we add Kentuckians to our playlist this week because I am from Kentucky. Sinister Ministers from Kentucky, and a lot of cool people are from the bluegrass.
Yeah, for real. Hey, I can only assume it's because the microphones weren't as good.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying they aren't as good. But these older songs, older recordings, they have a kind of warmth and internal reverb, perhaps, that is just that doesn't exist anymore.
So me and my brother really love the engineering portion of music, and so we have long discussions, and we look into stuff like that about the engineering. And if you you can go into the history of rock and roll music in America, but if you go into the history of the engineering of rock and roll music in America, it starts getting really, really interesting because engineers would do little bitty stuff like that, and it would catch on. You know, like let me add a little reverb right here to this in 1958, and then somebody hears that song and they're like, "Man, that's really cool. I want to do that to my," and it just kind of it spreads. Or something would happen. There was a Marty Robbins song called "Don't Worry" by Marty Robbins, and during this song, as they were recording it, when they were recording the main part on a 5-string bass, all right, doom 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 doom, and when they went to play the engineer was switching something in there, and they went to do the bass solo, a fuse blew in the amp or whatnot, and it caused the bass to be fuzzy. So after the end of the song, Marty hated it, but the engineer and everybody loved it. The engineer convinced him to keep this fuzz on this bass in this song. And they ended up trying to reproduce this fuzz. And that's where we get the fuzz box today, for the guitar, all because of a blown fuse in an amp that was a mistake that an engineer convinced you that this was something good. So there is with technology and computers, we don't have that kind of stuff anymore, JJ. You got
it all cleaned up so that it sounds
absolutely. It sounds wonderful. You don't have that. Oh my God, listen to that. In some Led Zeppelin songs, you can hear John Bonham, the drummer. You can hear his bass pedal squeaking when it goes up and down because it was just you can hear it squeaking. And they take that crap out nowadays digitally.
I'm not a musician, but I do draw, and there's some parallels here. And when you're drawing, when you're creating art or whatever, you can go for like realistic, exact capture of what you're seeing. And that's certainly one thing. But all of your favorite artists, certainly all your favorite comic book artists or whatever, have a unique style that you kind of see. And Rob Liefeld, I know you love Rob Liefeld, have a unique style that always, no matter what they're drawing, and if you never see their name, you know they're like, that's a Rob piece.
Rob, yeah.
Style is the way you do things wrong. Style is the way that you do things wrong. So like you do everything right, but you do some stuff wrong, but you do it wrong consistently and it looks good. That's style. And, a lot of especially this older music where you didn't have perfect equipment, it couldn't be perfect, but it was wrong in a certain way, but it always, is consistent. It worked. So different So that's what style. So I think of that as when I hear some of this stuff, and it's just warm, and it's like, yeah, you'd never hear this today. New.
Well, there's some really cool stories about that kind of stuff as well. Patsy Cline is one of them. Walking After Midnight. You know that song? I will walking after midnight. Go and listen to that song and listen how beautiful Patsy Cline's voice is. Now, imagine her standing in the studio singing this about a month after she had a near-death car accident, and she's standing there with about 3 broken ribs while she's singing this, because that's the true freaking story. Because they wouldn't do that today. Oh my God, you got broken ribs? You're not singing. Yeah. Well, Patsy Cline delivered this musical masterpiece that we've heard a million times, standing there with broken ribs after she almost died in a car accident. Wow. And then you got CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival, was one where they would call them one take. They were a one take band, because they could go into the studio and play the freaking song,
jam,
and that's it. That's perfect. That's what we've heard. A lot of those songs that you hear, I Was the Fortunate Son, and some of those, they were done in one take. That's it.
Amazing.
So there's some really cool stories about that you don't get anymore with this technology and stuff.
Okay.
With the technology today, but you get a lot of more. It's a balance. You get a lot more cool stuff with the technology.
And that's your culture and your learning for this morning. All right.
Listen to music. I don't care what kind it is. Listen to music. That's what I told my son one time. Listen to music. I don't care what kind it is, because he liked this video game type stuff, and he was afraid.
Oh yeah.
He was afraid to tell me what kind of music you like. Why are you afraid to tell me? I love it. That's great. It might not be my thing, but awesome. I'm glad you love it.
Okay.
Music.
All right. Today is August 16th, 2023. Today's episode title, you may have saw it earlier in the show. KJP posts and deletes Biden's tweet. What does that have to do with anything? All right, I'm going to show you. Deke, I don't even know if you saw this. This happened yesterday.
At the same time that people were posting it in our Discord server.
Yeah. Apparently, this is a screenshot of the post from yesterday at 2:05. Karine Jean-Pierre posted, "Investing in America means investing in all of America. When I ran for president, I made a promise that I would leave no part of the country behind," which is kind of funny because I don't remember her running for president. So this is pretty evidently one of those tweets that goes out on the White House Joe Biden account. And so somebody forgot to switch accounts when they were writing up a post.
So that poses the question:
who's in charge?
How many of these are in charge by one person? Is the whole White House in charge with one or two freaking Twitter people?
Does Joe Biden even have Twitter on his phone?
Am I really even talking to Joe Biden when we DM each other?
Yeah.
Is that really even him?
Joe,
I'm beginning
you were texting me from the beach, but was that not you, bro? No comment.
He told me I smelled good last night. I don't think that was him.
And speaking of the beach, and speaking of Maui, and the horrible, devastating wildfires, destroyed land, people's lives ruined, and no comment. Speaking of all of that, the Bidens plan to head to Maui as soon as we can, as the death count rises amid the wildfires. Now, I believe, this is not the story where he accidentally forgot the name of the island he was going to. So, because we've been talking about this, I don't know Hawaii, but I know Hawaii has a big island, and then north, kind of west of that, is Lahaina.
Hawaii.
Right. And then is Maui the island that was on fire?
Maui is the island. Lahaina is the town. The main big with Honolulu and the airport and the big cities and stuff, that's Oahu.
Oahu
is the island with Honolulu on it. And then there's all the other little bitty ones.
Yeah.
But the giant island is Hawaii, and then there's Maui, and then there's Oahu. Oahu's got Diamond Head volcano on it. Oahu is the island that we went to.
Okay.
Absolutely beautiful. Man.
So, yeah, beautiful place.
Yeah.
Don't go right now. Folks, do not go to Hawaii right now. They ain't got room
right.
for you. They got a disaster they're trying to manage.
Yeah.
The Biden's plan to head to Maui as soon as they can. Joe Biden and the First Lady will travel to Maui, Hawaii as soon as they can, if he can remember the name of the island. Jill and him are going to travel to Hawaii, and that's what they've been talking to the governor about, but they don't want to get in the way. They don't want to get in the way. Joe's been taking some heat over this whole Hawaii thing for basically being real slow to respond or even acknowledge that it was a problem.
I have firsthand account, and then I have read this in 3 other places since I posted this in our Discord server yesterday. But from firsthand account from someone on the island, my brother says the government, aka state and local, do mostly nothing but put roadblocks in front of the residents. Supposedly there was a plan to give locals placards to allow them into the impact zone. They say there are about 5,000 people waiting, with only 3 officials handing them out. Apparently they ran out. They are not allowed to go home yet, as the area is toxic. He says there isn't much anyone can do yet. They just don't know what they need yet. Prayers are keeping them going. His 74-year-old neighbor lost everything and will not be able to rebuild. They've found bodies and blah, 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 blah. So, and that's not the only place. I mean, that come from firsthand directly to my family. And then I've read that in several other places where it's talking about the same thing about the locals won't let us in. The locals in the state won't, or the local state governments won't let us in. They won't let us do anything. They're not doing anything. So I it's still too early to kind of point fingers and whatnot, but there are a lot of conspiracy theories going around. And Ashley and I were talking about it last night, and she pointed out something very, very that I had completely forgot about, that I was like, oh my God, you're right. She said, right now is not the time to turn your eyes away from the conspiracies and the stuff going on. She said, I do understand that there are a lot of devastating stuff going on, and you want to be, courteous and empathetic towards that. She said, but now is definitely not the time to turn your eyes away from some of this conspiracy stuff going on, because if you lived through 9/11 like we did, you know how easily that shit gets covered up and the narrative gets changed very, very quickly. So all of this stuff needs to be pointed out as it's happening, not 2 weeks later, because 2 weeks later you lose the footages of all that shit we lost the footage of in 9/11, that you have to dig and dig and dig to find that stuff.
So on the note of conspiracy, like, there's a bunch of conspiracy theories around about like, rich people did this to like drive poor people off the land or whatever.
Did you see what?
Hold on. I don't really give any credence outright to any of these conspiracy theories. Now, do I think it's possible that there will be some opportunistic advantage taken where rich people can afford to buy the land and poor people can't afford to rebuild, and so they will take up the land? Yeah, very, very likely it's possible. Was it a plan? I don't believe any of this was planned. This is a terrible plan if it was a plan. I don't think it was.
So 2 or 3 years ago, there was a conference about Maui and whatnot, and they wanted to make Maui the first AI city. All right.
Yeah. 15-minute city. Yeah.
And they're wanting to do all this technological hotels and buildings and all this stuff.
Right.
But Lahaina is a historic town. You cannot build. That's the law. You cannot build this type of stuff in Lahaina. All right. You can't. That posed with all of the other stuff that these conspiracy theory people are pointing out, that I'm not going to name because I don't have them ready and I can't name them off the top of my head, is a little unnerving when you look at it. I'm not buying in, because you know me, I don't buy it hook, line, and sinker right off the bat. But I am. It is very interesting to me, because there's one coincidence is just a coincidence, but 6 fucking coincidences is not a fucking coincidence anymore. And let me tell you something else. And I honestly believe this is something that they would do. Where is that tweet from Joe Biden? Do you have that tweet available from Joe Biden?
Which one? Which
The
one?
one where he talks about the Hawaii tweet that he made.
I didn't see it. I guess I don't know.
Maybe it's right here.
Now,
Joe,
go ahead.
where
Finish your thought.
it was in our, somebody put it in our meme. Was it in our memes? Yeah, here's our memes. Here was the tweet. The President Biden on his POTUS X account, he says, number 2, we are laser focused on getting aid to survivors, including critical needs assistance, a one-time $700 payment per household, offering relief during an unimaginably difficult time, blah, blah, blah. So everybody's
$700
flipping out.
bucks.
That's exactly what they're flipping out about. That key word there, one-time $700 payment. Okay,
that'll do it. That'll fix it.
I'm a radio guy, and I like to slip in jokes where you don't get to see the jokes. Okay, and I'm the type of person. I've said this for 30 freaking years. I'm the type of person that if I tell one of my little jokes on the radio, and 3 people out of 100 get it, those 3 people are like, that was hilarious. But 97 people are like, I don't get that.
Didn't
and I'm
even hear it.
fine with
Right.
that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That's what I want. And
Yeah.
this, I think, is one of those. Okay.
You think so?
Let me read it to you this way. All right. We're laser focused on getting aid to survivors, including critical needs assistance and a one-time $700 payment per household, offering relief during an unimaginably difficult time. Now let me read it to you this way. let me read it to you this way.
All right.
We're laser focused on getting aid to survivors, including critical need assistance, a one-time $700 payment per household, offering relief during it. That
China.
word, why is that word laser used, JJ? Out of all of the adjectives,
Sure.
and you don't even need a freaking adjective there. We're focused on getting aid to survivors. But if you wanted to say how determined you are, what word are you going to use? Are you going to use the word laser when one of the goddamn conspiracy theories is that a fucking laser started this shit?
Yeah. That's one of the conspiracy theories. And by the way, you don't need a laser to start a fire. Like, there's a lot easier ways to start a fire. But,
absolutely.
But I think the person that you need to ask about that particular tweet is not Joe Biden. It's probably Karine Jean-Pierre, because she's the one that wrote it.
Don't do that shit. That's not part of her job. It's some unnamed person back there doing that. And we're blaming her. She's a puppet too. And if you don't think that we don't have a laser up there that can zap our asses right now as we're sitting here drinking coffee, talking,
sure.
you are
you got lasers up there.
Absolutely.
I just don't know how effective they'd be going through the atmosphere.
Oh, you don't? Okay. I mean, hell, we've only had 45 fucking years to work on it, so I'm sure it's pretty effective.
Star Wars.
We're driving freaking cars on Mars. You don't think they have a laser that can start a fire on the Earth? Jeez.
All right. I just said I just don't know how effective it is. I mean, obviously you can do some stuff.
Obviously, it's pretty effective.
So before we get off
100 now, that's pretty effective. Most of them are supposed to be children. Look, it's supposed to be over 500.
This is an old island, like you said, right? Old island. You're not allowed to build new stuff there. You ever have a telephone pole fall in your town?
Absolutely.
Power line break?
I'm not saying
easy
anything. Stuff. I'm just saying keep your eyes, be vigilant. Right. Don't close your eyes to stuff.
Well, remain aware and don't trust anything, and don't draw conclusions necessarily. You know, like, you got to be real critical of everything. Okay, so here's this one other thing. Will Kane, I saw Dean Kane retweeted this yesterday, and I think I put it in the notes. Will Kane posted this. We believe we are the only national media in West Maui. I haven't seen any other crews, and they tried to censor us and shut us down. West Maui is a media-free zone. We only got through the checkpoints because I'm a property owner in West Maui. They have this place on info lockdown from Waihi to Malea. So now I'm willing to bet that it's on media lockdown because the government is incompetent and overwhelmed, and they don't want to be responsible for more people going into danger and getting hurt. That's probably
a state-of-the-art system there. Yeah. No, everything that we're hearing is that they did nothing. The kids were out of school. The parents were at work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
a lot of these deaths.
You mentioned that yesterday about a lot of kids being killed, and I've heard substantial like reports about that. So that's probably
was one
likely.
of
A
the
lot of
first
kids
things that
dead.
I read of coming out of the ground on Hawaii was that kids were out of school that day, parents were at work, the alarms didn't go off to warn the kids. They're afraid that a lot of these deaths are going to be kids.
Yeah, that's going to be. This will unfold, right? This will unfold. We will get more information. The government will lie about it.
The government's going to lie about it. The rich people are going to lie about it. The rich people are going to donate a couple of $1 million, and then they're going to buy up all that fucking land.
And there's going to be a lot of stories about people that used to live in Maui, and they had to sell their land, and the government
and then all of us, like me and JJ, are going to get mad, and nothing's ever going to fucking happen about it, and then we're going to die, and the world's going to go on. So it's not like anything is ever going to change. We're just having a little show here, and having a little good time.
So I saw an interesting post yesterday from Cerno. I don't know. I don't know if I put this on there. Cernovich, I know you don't really maybe follow Cernovich. If you don't follow Cernovich on Twitter and you're on Twitter, you should follow Cernovich. He's on my he's on the high value thinker list that I keep.
Okay.
Cernovich posted Genocide Watch, a nonpartisan group that tracks global genocides, has a warning system. Here's the warning system. Where would you place conservatives and Trump supporters in this list? Now, this list is in a logical order, but these things don't happen one and then the other and then the other, but rather many of them happen at the same time. But there is a logical order. That is, classification is always first, but then that may happen with symbolization and discrimination at the same time. So classification, symbolization, discrimination, dehumanization, organization, polarization, preparation, persecution, extermination, and then denial.
Okay,
these are the 10 steps of genocide.
It looks like it's almost kind of really in order, because you go through the classification, symbolization, and discrimination first, and then dehumanization comes along with that.
There is a logical order, and they are ordered, but it's not like one has to finish before the next one begins.
Right.
Sometimes
they can all happen
several
at
of them,
the same time.
Yes, exactly.
The symbolization, discrimination, and dehumanization all happen at the same time, overlapping classification, in my opinion. And organization overlaps all those as well. Organization. But we're in the middle of polarization, preparation, and persecution.
Persecution's happening right now. Yeah. J6 defenders. These people just walked around in the Capitol. Some other people were being, real bad, breaking windows and stuff. But some of these people were just in there taking selfies and shit. And they're in jail for like 2 years, no trial date, no charges filed. We have Donald Trump right now. He's got like 4 indictments and like 90 something charges against him. And his lawyers are being indicted alongside him. So if you have legal counsel and you do something, they're just going to charge your legal counsel too. A strong case could be made that we're in the 8th stage of genocide. So that's pretty interesting. So I went over to the Genocide Watch website. It's pretty neat. They have a whole website. You can look all about it, look all around about it. And there's a let's see, North America, United States of America. Let's see where we class on here. We're in alert status warning. So according to Genocide Watch website, we are definitely in the warning state. There's only 3 states. There's only 3 warning levels. So you can check that out. Go to check out Genocide Watch. It's a good little morning read for you. But, nothing's going to be done, Deke says. Well, something might get done.
Watch.
They might kill us.
Hey, I got one for you that you might not have saw that I think you might like. This is right up your alley. Hunter Biden's criminal lawyer has asked to quit the case, saying that he may become a witness.
Peace out. I'm out. I'm off the team. This dude is guilty.
Hunter Biden's top criminal attorney has asked a federal judge in Delaware to allow him to withdraw as Biden's counsel, saying he could become a witness in the case following a collapse of a plea agreement he had negotiated with prosecutors. Attorney Christopher Clark filed a motion Tuesday asking to step down from the case, citing questions about Biden's now defunct plea agreement on tax charges
Ouch.
and a diversion agreement on a gun possession offense.
So, Deke, this, we've all heard of attorney-client privilege in movies and stuff. And I believe that is to protect your lawyer. So if you tell your lawyer something, he is not compelled to give that information up about you, right? I think that's how attorney-client privilege works. But does it work the other way? Can your lawyer just flip on you?
I don't know. Maybe.
He's not my client anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know him. Who's this guy?
Yeah. All right. That's pretty cool. We have this. Let's see. Let's go with this one. DC is.
I will have to leave early today as soon as.
Oh yeah, right.
Here. So I don't know what time they're going to get here. They may get here at any time. I keep looking.
All right. Well, is there any stories you want to get to before?
Nah, we can just go, and if they get here, I'll tell them I'm doing a show.
Cool.
Just won't have to watch my mouth.
All right. Let's see. We got DC selectively enforcing defacement laws against Black Lives Matter, pro-life groups. So
apparently, some other people talking about this.
The police in DC and the law in DC is not. It's not.
They don't care.
It's not enforced equally.
Yeah, if you're Black Lives Matter, you can just spray paint the road and do whatever you want to. It's cool. We don't care. But anybody else that tries that, whatever other group tries that, you're going to jail.
Yeah. So if you're Black Lives Matter, you can paint the street. But if you write some chalk on the sidewalk and you are anti-abortion, you're going to be in deep doo-doo. So we'll see if that case materializes into something substantial. I got some crime stories, and you got some crime stories. Let's see. You put this one in there.
Crime doesn't pay.
Well.
Oh, are you talking about the crypto one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a cool one. Are you going to bring this up?
You go. Yeah, I got the picture, but you tell the story.
I don't know a whole lot about it. I just I saw this and I was like, ooh, me and JJ like to talk about this. Oh gosh, no, I don't want to, accept all this mess. The remains of an American crypto mogul have been found chopped up and stuffed down a toilet by some horrified plumbers. Can you imagine?
Whoa, stuffed down a toilet. Dude, you got to get those pieces small to get down a toilet.
What's the grossest thing that you've ever found in the toilet as a plumber? Well, we found this dude one time.
Millionaire.
Body parts of Christian Peeve, 41, who had both U.S. and Bulgarian citizenship, were found by plumbers in a sewer when they were called to clear a blocked drain Saturday in Bulgaria's capital. Investigators believe the alleged killer chopped up his victim's body and flushed some of the parts down the toilet.
Wow.
Some of the parts that couldn't be flushed away, including his head and some of his bones, were buried instead. This guy was
that's awful.
A crypto dude that had made a lot of money. And these crypto dudes seem to be getting offed like this. Have you noticed? Have you noticed that these big time crypto guys that made a lot of money in crypto, there's been more than a couple that
hold on. We need to reprimand our audience. Richter, this is not appropriate, sir. It's not. I do not condone this kind of comments. It's not appropriate.
I do. I think that's great.
All right. Let's see.
Man.
I got one here. This one is important because this is not only in my neck of the woods. I know exactly where this place is and have been there many times.
Hey, I got one.
Houston man assaulting multiple customers inside of a Centerville restaurant restroom is shot by another customer.
Really? I didn't read this story.
One customer assaulting other customers was shot by one of the assault victims. The owner of Woody's Smokehouse and Leon County Sheriff shared details of what happened Monday afternoon on their Facebook page. Sheriff Kevin Ellis and said surveillance video shows that Kevin Craig Anderson of Houston entered the business in a harassing manner, and while inside, Anderson aggressively approached several customers before going into the restroom. The sheriff said investigators learned that Anderson began assaulting an elderly man, knocking him unconscious to the floor, and continued assaulting him. A second man who attempted to intervene was knocked to the floor by Anderson. And while Anderson was continuing to assault the second man, the victim got out his gun, fired two shots, striking Anderson in the arm. The sheriff said the shooter had a license to carry his firearm. Anderson then ran out of the restaurant and drove away. He stopped on Interstate 45 south of Buffalo after about 14 miles. Anderson is hospitalized in Houston. One of the victims was taken to the Bryan Hospital for treatment of their injuries. And the sheriff's office and Texas Rangers continue their investigation. Now, if this were in New York, the guy that fired the gun probably would have been like arrested and charged with assault, probably manslaughter or attempted manslaughter. But this is Texas.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you don't kill a man in Texas.
You don't even knock an old man down in Texas.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Yeah, you don't do that. Yeah.
I know that, Woody's. I stop there all the time when I'm traveling. It's either you stop there or you stop at Buc-ee's. And my wife hates Buc-ee's. So we often stop at Woody's. We'll get gas. We go inside. They have the best barbecue. And like so much like jarred, jellies, but it's like it's been canned, like, authentically or whatever. Yep. FAFO. Okay. Apparently the New York Post posted this on Twitter the other day. An entire town's police department has resigned.
Hey, this is Cassandra.
Uh-oh.
You could've called my cell
It's
phone.
my wife.
I'm not in the office right now.
Okay, my wife's going to be on the phone here.
Well, yeah, that just is.
Okay.
I've
Minnesota
got a story
town.
for you. Oh, are you?
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I'm not going to go.
Yeah, if you got one, go ahead.
Yeah,
I was going to do this crime one. Go ahead.
This is kind of a crime story
Okay.
too. This one comes, you said this one was that one was near your neck of the woods. Well, this one is near my neck of the woods. And we talked about this on the website, on the Discord server yesterday. And I want to read this because I have a little bit of an update. Several concerned citizens spoke last night at the Hopkinsville City Council, that is just right next door to where I'm at here in Western Kentucky, about this police officer, Jeremiah Klein. According to the group of individuals, photos and videos of Klein using the OK hand gesture have surfaced on social media. And though this symbol has long been a childhood prank made for the made you look, you hold it. I was always told you got to hold it below your waist, right? You've muted yourself, JJ.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the game where you make a circle and you trick somebody into looking at your dick.
You're holding the circle and you just hold it below your waist somewhere. That's what that's what it was. It wasn't looking at your goober or anything, but it was just holding it. And then if you looked at it, the person got to hit you.
Punch.
They got to punch you. That's what it was. If
made you look.
At it, you got to oh man, and then you got a hit in the shoulder, and it wasn't a hard hit, and that's what it was.
Right.
So I want you to look at this picture of this police officer that they're complaining about. Look at this kid. Look at his face.
Yeah.
He's a kid.
I'm getting away with this. This is funny.
Both times it is below the waist. He's playing a game.
Yeah.
And these people flipped out about it. Last night, the city council had a meeting. They had their normal city council meeting that people got to speak. There was first to speak was, of course, the NAACP president. And then there was a former state representative. And then there was some townspeople that spoke. But then there was some people that spoke up for the officer, including like his supervisor, the police chief. And they were like, this is dumb. This has been blown completely out of proportion. We don't have any laws about posting on social media in uniform or anything. He didn't do anything. Just because he was disciplined doesn't mean that he's going to get dismissal. Discipline could mean, hey, dude, quit doing that. Okay.
Yeah, cut it out. You're making us look bad.
Yeah, that's discipline. All right.
Also, stop tricking me and you're looking at your.
Stop tricking. Stop getting me.
Gotta cut this out. This is now.
Man,
you got the whole country looking at your junk right now.
My buddy Rhodey, he would do that crap all the time, man. All the time. He'd be like, right.
Yeah.
Right. I'd be like, look, he'd laugh. He loved it. He loved that.
Why are this is anybody that has any awareness at all knows that this is a game. Why are they bringing white supremacists into this?
Because a long time ago, someone on 4chan said this meant white supremacy and whatnot.
According to
and
what?
Groups
to who?
were according to random internet guy 3469.
Right.
He
but
said,
it's in your story.
2069 said that this meant white supremacy. So you know how it happens on the internet. The brain dead sheeple started sharing. Oh my God! Did you know that this meant peace for years and for centuries and centuries in many different cultures? And now because one random fat guy 42069 says that this means. And it got so big that the hate groups started picking it up and using it.
Yeah.
Like the freaking morons that they are. So, and then you still got brain dead Karens and Kens. What's the male equivalent of a Karen?
I don't know. I found out what a female Chad is, though. You know, Chad is like, you know, like a super
female
dude.
Chad.
Yeah, a female Chad is called a Stacy. I didn't know that.
Stacy, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Sounds great. I don't know what a male Karen is. Probably also a Karen.
Does anybody in chat know what a male Karen is? I thought
the ADL. Richter says the ADL has a diagram explaining the symbolism of it. It's kind of hilarious. Oh, okay. Let's look that up.
All right. So that was my story. I wanted to bring up the Hopkinsville police chief because they had the meeting last night, and some people obviously spoke up because. So there you
go. Hold on, Deke. Don't go anywhere. Here we go. According to the Anti-Defamation League, that makes like all of their business about defaming people. The OK symbol is hate on display, and this is why it means white power, because the three fingers make a W, and the OK makes the O part of the OK makes the P for power. So that is their display. That is the reason why it's white power.
If I fucking turn my hand around and flip it backwards, it makes a P. You
so
jerk
what if
off.
you do it? What if you do it backwards? Is it Q? Is it Q power? White Q.
What if I do this and not make a fucking W?
Yeah.
What if I'm not making a W? You dumbasses. What does this mean? When JJ, when you're way the hell over there, way 100 yards away, and you scream, Deke, do you got power over there?
Okay. Oh shit. White supremacies. No, it's not white power. And if it is for like 5 idiots on the internet, then so what? So what?
The same thing happened with the battle flag.
Yeah.
The Confederate battle flag. Same thing. Same thing happened.
Okay, so one more crime story here. We got, as you remember, I think it was Minneapolis, Minnesota had a big old Minneapolis.
The only reason I corrected you is because when me and Ashley went to that town, Minneapolis, I was in an elevator and I always pronounced it Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
How's it spelled? You just said it. You said Minneapolis.
Oh yeah, there's 2 N's, but they're together, so it's not Minneapolis.
But I always said Minneapolis. And when I said that in the elevator, there was a guy that was standing in the elevator, and he turned his head sharply and looked at me, and he goes, "It's Minneapolis," and didn't say anything else to me. So now that's like a joke between me and Ashley. She will go, "It's Minneapolis." Because I missed. So I'm sorry. I had to correct. You said that. That's the first thing I thought of.
Right.
Minneapolis.
Right. So David says the male version of a Karen is called a Brad. So okay. Yeah. If you remember back, I think it was it 20?
Kyle.
When did George Floyd happen? Was that 2021? 2022? When was that? Where they set the whole country on fire and Black Lives Matter just like fleeced a bunch of people. based on George Floyd. So Minneapolis, Minnesota had that George Floyd incident, and then they ended up convicting 3 or 4 of their police officers, including the one that was trying to restrain George Floyd, and George Floyd died. So that happened in Minnesota. Well, there's a little town in Minnesota called Goodhue. Goodhue, Minnesota is a small town in the southeastern part of the state, and they have lost their entire police force after the chief and members of their police force hand in their resignations. Quote, I think we're all a bit blindsided by it, but we're resilient. We're going to move forward. I want to reiterate that we have police coverage of the city of Goodhue. Police Chief Josh Smith will continue to serve in his position until August 24th. Smith says, we have one police officer. Has been.
I got one bullet that I keep in my pocket.
Smith said, this has been 3 weeks now. We have 0 applicants. That's a 0. I'm demonstrating a 0, not white power. 0 applicants. I've called every police department around for the youngest guys out there getting into the game. Nobody is getting into the game. So apparently, at least in Minnesota, if Black Lives Matter threatens to destroy, your lives and careers, and Antifa threatens to burn stuff down, not only will the jury rule that you killed a guy who had multiple fatal amounts of fentanyl and drugs and heroin in his system, or whatever he had, methamphetamine, I don't know what he had. Not only will they convict the police officers and convict you of murder, well, the result of that is that people don't want to become police officers, which is crazy. So now this town has lost their entire police force. All right. I'll see you later, Deke. Are you gonna leave? Let's take you off. All right, man. So here's the story, guys. Police Chief Josh Smith will continue to serve in the position until August 24th. There's been 0 applicants. If you want to keep the police department, and this is something we want to continue going with, something needs to change dramatically and drastically. It's got to happen now. One Goodhue city member praised the police force for maintaining law and order in the town of Goodhue. I can possibly speak for everyone when I say they provided excellent safety and security to our community, and the small town policing that they did, we want that back. So I guess if you defund the police, there ain't going to be any police. So and it doesn't have to be your town that did it. It could be the bigger town next door that are defunding the police, and then all of a sudden, police maybe don't want to work in your state at all. The largest city in Minnesota, Minneapolis, is the site of the one of the important policing stories of the last decade. The ex-Minneapolis police officer to be convicted following the death of George Floyd received a sentence of 4 years, 9 months on August 7th. Before the sentencing was decided, Tao took time to talk about Jesus, recalling how distressed in prison over the false narrative surrounding the case, and he was reading the Bible. That's Officer Tao, who was convicted of his participation in the death of George Floyd. He was a rookie police officer, and he was literally told, keep those people back. Just maintain a perimeter. All right. There we go. So that's that story. Let's see. I think we got some other stuff here. Deke's got his guest and his friend in there. Let me do. Can I do this? That'll work. I want to keep the rest of the stuff in here. All right. He's got his friend in there, and they're in there talking early. Okay, we got some woke stuff. I know you guys love the woke stuff. We only got 10 minutes left. Let's see. Let's talk. Man, I really wish I could have shared this with Deacon. We'll do that one in a second. Maybe okay, here we go. We'll do this. There's a silent, but according to revolver.com, there's a silent but deadly Disney boycott underway, and it's destroying the woke Magic Kingdom. Okay, so now we need to go here. All right. The Bud Light boycott was notably rowdy, loud, and widely covered in the news, but Bud Light's reputation went down in flames quickly, and we all watched it unfold. While the situation with Disney may not be as immediately noticeable, it is proving to be just as damaging. Evidence suggests that a silent boycott against Disney is taking place, causing the death spiral behind the scenes. Let's see. Disney has lost over $890 million in the last 8 studio releases. The last 8 movies have lost a ton of money. I think the current one they have out now is Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion. It was new last weekend, and it didn't even make like $40 million. The films contributing to the losses include Lightyear, Thor: Love and Thunder, Strange World, Black Panther 2, Ant-Man 3, Little Mermaid, and Elemental. The 8 films cost roughly $2.75 billion to produce and only brought in $1.86 billion. Okay, and then you have to account for marketing. And let's see, Disney's been seeing a lot of red flags. We've seen the prices go up for Disney Plus. They lost 18 million subscribers since September 2022, including a significant decrease of 1% in North America. And that means they have 100 million less subscribers than their biggest competitor, Netflix. So in order to boost the platform, they're going to raise the price by almost 25% from $11 a month to $14 a month. It's going to cause people to drop off as well. The Eddie Murphy version of Haunted Mansion. Yeah, I was looking at by the numbers the other day. Numbers, box office chart for the weekend, and let's see, is that the weekend chart? Do the weekend chart. So this is last weekend, and you see Barbie continues to just bring in tons of money. Meg 2 is doing okay. Haunted Mansion. It didn't launch last weekend. Haunted Mansion is in its 5th week in release. It didn't launch last weekend. It's in its 5th week in release, and it's only made $53 million in 5 weeks. That is not good. That's real bad. So they're dropping, and they're continually down spiral. Sound of Freedom, however, has continued to make more money domestically than Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Domestically, Sound of Freedom has made almost $173 million, and it has outgrossed Mission Impossible in the United States. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, Haunted Mansion, so they can add that to their list. I don't know what the Haunted Mansion financials were, the production budget, but even as cheap as it was, it's not going to be a windfall of cash for Disney. Yeah, hey, Disney is definitely going to hang on to their not so secret agenda. They're gonna stick to the plot and go down in flames. All right. Anyway, so I don't know. I'm not taking my kids to Disney movies, and I barely let my kids watch Disney Plus. All right. Here's another woke story. I saw this and I was like, oh my God, what in the hell? Get ready, folks. Transgender Muslim woman demands ex-boyfriend return his frozen testicles. Just wrap your head around this headline. Transgender Muslim woman, so that's a guy who thinks he's a woman and Muslim, demands his boyfriend, which can return his frozen testicles. Oh my God. A Michigan man who identifies as a Muslim woman has filed legal claim to retrieve his amputated testicles from his ex-boyfriend's refrigerator. Defendant retains possession of my surgically extracted testicles, preserved in a mason jar, kept in the fridge next to the eggs. It's the end of the world, folks. Demand the immediate return of my human remains specimen and damages of $6,500. The 40-year-old Brianna Kingsley wrote in an affidavit against 37-year-old William Wachowski, according to Redux. In April, Kingsley posted a TikTok video titled "The Unboxing of These Nuts," which showed him clad in a lace veil and pink dress, removing a clear bag with a biohazard label. The video was captioned, "Transgender woman unboxes her surgically extracted lady balls that was packaged by the hospital that performed her gender-affirming bottom surgery. Wow. All right. I'm going to continue to reiterate. No, we're not watching this. Nope. I'm going to continue to reiterate. It is my position that that's mental illness. And that really seems like one you can't come back from. So, wow. Yeah, it's not a plug and play organ. You are correct, Richter. That is correct. Okay, is there any other important stuff? Dude, yeah. I mean, look, the good thing about this is that the human species is designed to kind of like spread out, come back together, procreate, create a new generation. You know, the human species is designed by God. If you believe in God, I do. Designed by God to go out and flourish and reproduce. And sometimes there's some damaged products, and luckily, the damaged products end of the line. We'll say it can be the end of the line. So eventually, this if this type of mental illness is, you know, biological in nature, inherited, well, it'll be weaned out. Yeah, the guy needed help, and they chopped his balls off and turned his dick inside out. So, well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, my wife's got a call in here in a minute, so I'm going to give you your joke for the day, even though we don't have Deke here to give us a giggle. Why is it so windy at the concert? It's all the fans. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 o'clock. If you haven't already, hit like, subscribe. Come hang out with us. Come hang out with your two dads.